Hello, this is Justin. Today we'll be talking about spread betting, and I've got Chris Weston, Head of Research at Pepperstone. How are you going?
Going well, very well, Justin, very well.
Fantastic. And we've got Piers Crosby, who's General Manager at TradingView. Hi, Piers.
Hi, Justin. Hey, thanks for having me, and good to be back with the Pepperstone team today.
Fantastic. So let's first start with spread betting. So TradingView, new platform, relatively new for Pepperstone. Yep. Why did you add it as one of the options?
Well, I mean, you have to. I mean, it's the biggest trading platform in the world, right? And its growth has been there for a reason. I mean, it's flexible. People are adding new indicators, new visual effects to the platform every day. You know, and the community is growing. It has incredibly slick charting. And that's what people want. If you look at the investment trends reports that come out every year, either for CFDs or spread betting traders, you know, they want access to community for trading ideas, for trading strategies, for indicators and trading tools, risk management tools, and they're being developed by the community all the time. And they're pushing the envelope far quicker than a lot of other platforms. And I think people who use it love it, and you have to give that to clients, both for spread betting and for CFDs as well. And of course, you know, the take-up's been very popular there.
Sure. So Piers, I'll throw it over to you. TradingView for spread betting. Talk to me about the markets and the key features that people can expect.
So we're very excited for Pepperstone to launch spread betting on TradingView. Previously, we've had very limited offerings in that market, and for a lot of European customers, that obviously puts us at a strong disadvantage. So Pepperstone launching these new markets, especially around futures trading or futures spread betting, futures CFDs, this allows people to basically, gauge your risk, have a very, very kind of distinct portfolio of tools at your disposal, and be able to trade markets that previously, had pretty limited uptake in terms of the ability for people to actually execute. We know there's a ton of interest. Spread betting is huge, not just in the UK, but in Europe broadly. And so it's pretty exciting to see Pepperstone kind of turn this on. It took us some time to get it up and running, but I think from strength, we have more strength here in terms of using trading language. And in this case, Pepperstone's already been a very, very strong partner, winning our broker awards actually last year as the number one partner on TradingView. So this is yet again another opportunity for them to basically improve that core customer experience on the platform.
Fantastic. So let's talk about spread betting. Talk to me about the popularity from a Pepperstone perspective of like traditional CFD versus spread betting for UK traders.
Well, I mean, look, if you are trading off an individual account, I mean, realistically, you're only going to trade spread betting. If you're trading on a trust account, then you'll choose CFDs, and if you make a loss, you can use that loss to offset other taxes. But obviously, if you go into trading hoping to grow the capital in your account and make profits, and the fact that they're capital gain tax free, is an incredibly attractive proposition for people to trade. It's why we get into trading. So look, the take up since we've been offering spread betting over the period of time has been very popular. And so if you look at the mix that we've got as a business between spread betting on a personal level, a personal trader level relative to CFDs, it's a very, very heavy skew towards spread betting, and rightly so, obviously from that tax advantage, and also the fact that the instruments are denominated in the pound as well. So you've got whatever index you're trading, gold, Nasdaq, euro, dollar, whatever it's going to be. You're seeing the profit and loss move around in the pound, so you don't have that currency exposure that you would do when you translate it back. So that's quite important as well. But yeah, like obviously, if you look at the sort of the amount of traders who are trading spread betting, or let's say the amount of leverage traders that are across different products in the UK is around about 180,000. There's about 84,000 solely spread betting traders in the UK, and Pepperstone are one of the big five spread betting brokers that we've got at the moment, so which is pretty incredible considering we haven't been around as some of the sort of the longer shops have been doing it. So the take up's been very good, and the fact that we're offering this wide range of platforms and this extensive range of products means that we'll probably attract more client base to that as well.
Sure. Piers, from your perspective, from a general UK Europe traders, What's the most popular things that are being traded right now? Like things like currencies, gold. Can you give us some of the trends and what you're seeing people focusing on?
Sure. Well, I think a lot of the Middle Eastern kind of news that's kind of happening day to day these days is causing a lot of volatility in commodities markets. So not so much precious metals, but more around specifically oil and relative trades like this. We do see a lot of uptick in interest around those key instruments. So as a result, people that are trading, say, WTI spreads, Brent spreads, things like this, very, very popular on TradingView right now. I would say, in addition to that, I mean, commodities markets have always been very popular on TradingView, so you're going to see a ton of uptick in general around things like gold, silver, palladium, and the like. Some of these stories are tied up in, actually, interestingly enough, there are some kind of tangential stories tied up in the AI news, considering that there are specific deals that NVIDIA has that other players don't around chip manufacturing, as well as semiconductors and the like. And so commodities markets are very popular on TradingView for precious metals, but also for oil. In recent terms, I would say, yeah, specifically the Middle East has been a huge driver of that interest across the board. So yeah, I think it's a good start. We obviously have a lot of different, say, Euro USD instruments that trade on TradingView, as well as Euro dollar. Euro dollar is for sure the number one traded instrument from a currency perspective on TradingView. Always has been. And when we do have kind of political instability and things like this, obviously you see an uptick or a downtick. But in general, it's always very popular. So obviously great that we now have some of those trades in place with Pepperstone.
Great. So Chris, I want to focus back on Pepperstone here. Mm-hmm. Two key benefits that we in our analysis have done. First of all, spreads. One of the most competitive. Give me the reasons why Pepperstone, when we measured them, had one of the lowest spreads.
Well, first of all, you have to be, right? I mean, if you look at the average duration of a hold time from clients in currencies, gold, it's very, very low. You know, you're seeing day trading business and scalping business. And what's the biggest cost to your business? What's the biggest drag to your headwind is the cost to trade. Obviously, yeah, depending on how well you're trading, that's the big thing. But the thing that you can control are your costs. So yeah, if you're an active high frequency trader, like, you know, and your hold times are very low, you know, costs are really important. You know, spread swaps can be, but it depends if you're holding your positions over the rollover period. But yeah, your costs are. So, you know, as a broker, you have to be targeting that because people are very cost sensitive on those high frequency traders. But I think if you actually look at how we derive our price, I mean, if we take FX, we've got a significant amount of investment banks and liquidity providers who are all pooling, you know, their best bid or their best offers and best bids and their liquidity into this aggregator, and we spit out, you know, the best bid and the best offer to clients. They don't care where it's coming from; they just want that. They want that tight price. But what they're getting there is incredibly good liquidity. And very tight spreads. Now, that liquidity argument, I think, is really important and is massively misunderstood by a lot of people, because if you look at a lot of brokers, what they're going to give you is very tight prices to buy and sell, but they're quite unrealistic, especially if you're doing something in, you know, modest size, because what happens is they're only good at a very small percentage of that top, what we call touch price, and then they'll work it down the order book to get you in. Whereas our liquidity is, you know, very, very strong, very deep. And therefore, the price that you're seeing on the bid and offer is a realistic price, even if you're doing in good size. So I think just the range of providers who are offering prices means that you're going to get that tight spread, but you're also getting very good liquidity, which is really, really important for traders as well. Okay,
second point is pretty much around the same area.
Okay.
We measure you as the fastest execution speeds of any broker.
Yep.
Secret there?
I don't know, you come into the office and have a look at the amount of tech people and dev people that we've got working around, and it'll probably speak volumes. I mean, you have to be now. Execution is absolutely critical for people. I mean, we talk back to those people who want that high touch, you know, high visibility and that control around execution. You know, one-click dealing and all these factors. I mean, these factors people want. Bang! It needs to go through, and that rapid execution is a really important part for traders. So you have to be quick, and it has to fill the order at the price you've been seeing, without any kind of crazy latency. So I think we've invested a lot of time in dev people and getting that technology right up there. So I think people are yielding the benefits of that now.
Great. Piers, any final thoughts of what's on the horizon for TradingView?
Well, obviously, with folks like Pepperstone alongside us, we're very happy to continue to push the envelope on trading connectivity, as well as things like order types, as well as kind of more advanced levels of analysis, such that you can execute quite easily and efficiently. So we do have a lot coming down the pipe in terms of kind of diversifying what we kind of offer from a trading perspective. And this goes very much alongside kind of what we do on the front end side of things. I mean, as I think Chris well said, we're very well known for our charting functionality, as well as a lot of our front end functionality on TradingView. That will be continued to be incrementally improved, I guess. So no major kind of milestone launches I can speak about per se. But I will say that there's going to be quite a few substantial improvements as to the overall look and feel of the TradingView experience. Couple things to keep in mind. I would say we did just launch our heat maps product. This is a very cool way for people to visualize as many markets as you could possibly imagine. Now, we will start rolling that out for a bunch of different asset classes. So previously, it was just kind of the major indexes to look at the constituents and how they're doing. But we will be doing this for things like commodities, currencies as well, such that different traders can obviously see how's the market doing overall. How can I take a quick look at something versus actually having to swap through or mash through, say, 40 charts to get a good sense of what the market is up to. So we will be rolling more features like that. And I will say there's some other big launches coming in terms of things like, options is a good example. So stay tuned for that. Obviously, very, very exciting for many different customers. Ultimately, options is very popular in the US as an example. But we do have some other products around options that'll be very compelling, I think, to some of our customers in various kind of emerging markets or international markets. So both very, very interesting to be watching on the horizon.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Piers. And thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Justin.
So let's go over the 3 key points. So spread betting, hugely popular, one of the probably more popular for Pepperstone in the UK than CFDs. Secondly, Pepperstone execution speed, spreads, that's why they're our recommended broker. And third is TradingView. It's probably the features that we've talked about. It's our recommended platform for spread betting. And of course, it's a relatively new player, but very popular from a CFD and from a investment trends perspective. So thanks both for attending, and thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.